my fiancé, who was supposed to be on a business trip in Shanghai, ended up quarantined in a hotel in Sonya due to a sudden COVID outbreak, and he wasn't alone, his ex-girlfriend was quarantined there with him. As the bride-to-be, I only found out about this the day before our wedding. More than 20 days later, he showed up and told me he would reschedule the wedding. I smiled and gave a little wave of my hand, letting the diamond on my ring catch the light. I'm sorry, Mr. Cheng. But I'm actually married. 1. Cheng Jingshaw called me just as I was having my final makeup trial. Outside, it was a lively commotion. My best friend Shen Tian and my cousin Qifang, who had come to help, were arguing over the best way to tie the balloons to make them look nice. With a smile, I hit the speakerphone button and asked softly, "Are you back from Shanghai?" A week ago, Cheng Jingshaw told me he needed to go to Shanghai to discuss a long-pending partnership deal. He had been really frustrated when the project was put on hold during Shanghai's COVID lockdown, so now that the city had reopened, I had no reason to stop him from going. Before he left, he promised me he'd be back within 3 days, just in time for us to spend the Qixi festival together. But then 3 days stretched into 5, and 5 days have dragged on until now. Cheng Jingshaw fell silent for a moment before saying with a guilty tone, "Susu, I'm so sorry. It looks like I won't be able to make it back for a while. Do you think we could postpone the wedding? I'll have my parents handle the relatives. When I get back, we'll have an even grander celebration." My smile froze on my face. Before I could even ask why, a coquettish woman's voice from his end immediately followed, answering my unspoken question. "Jingshaw, how long will we be quarantined in Sonya? I never should have asked you to come with me." The next second, the call was disconnected. 2. The expensive makeup artist I'd hired stood beside me, curling iron in hand, her gaze holding an awkward sympathy. "Miss Lin, shall we continue?" I looked at my reflection in the mirror, my long hair cascading down, my makeup flawless. Just minutes ago, I had thought I was the happiest woman in the world. Outside the door, the sounds of Shen Tian and Qifang's playful scuffle continued. Digging my nails into my palm to steady myself, I gave her an apologetic smile. "Sorry, could you wait a moment? I need to make a call." That woman's voice just now sounded somewhat familiar. I needed to confirm whether my hunch was correct. The call connected almost immediately. On the other end of the line, Chu Xian was his usual flippant self. Well, what brings the blushing bride to call me?" Had a sudden change of heart. Ready to see the light and ditch the wrong side. "I need to ask you something. Where did you meet Zhao Jingjing before?" "Shanghai. Why are you asking about her all of a sudden?" "Don't tell me Cheng Jingshaw ran off with her." I hunched over slightly, a sharp pain blooming in my chest as if I'd been punched. So, his recent irritability and short temper weren't about the stalled partnership deal. He was worried about his ex-girlfriend. My eyes stung and felt swollen, but the tears wouldn't come. "Chu Xian," I called out hoarsely, "you once said that if Cheng Jingshaw ever left me, I could consider you. Does that offer still stand?" The moment the words left my mouth, the sound of shattering glass echoed through the room. Chu Xian muttered a curse under his breath. Damn it, he really ran off with Zhao Jingjing. No, I was the one who left him. "So, will you marry me?" At the top of my phone screen, a notification showed that Cheng Jingshaw had sent me a message a few minutes ago. It was brief. "Wait for me, sweetheart. I'll explain everything when I get back. Our wedding is just around the corner." And he's off to Sonya with his ex-girlfriend for the Qixi festival, expecting me to wait for him to come back. Even if we reschedule, without a doubt, the story of Commissar Lin's granddaughter being left at the altar will become the talk of the town. I can't bear this humiliation, and my family certainly can't afford this disgrace. I know this isn't fair to him, and my tone softened. "Just help me this once. After we're married, I won't tie you down. We can sign a prenup. If you ever want a divorce, I won't take a single penny that's rightfully yours. You like that set of Song Dynasty you wear celadon glazed plates, don't you? I could give them to you." Chu Xian was silent for a moment, then asked with unusual seriousness, "Have you thought it through?" "No regrets." "No regrets. Good. Get ready, because I'm coming to marry you tomorrow." 3. After hanging up, I sent a message back to Cheng Jingshaw. "You inform your relatives on your side. I'll handle my side myself." Then I went into the family group chat and posted, "Cheng Jingshaw and his ex-girlfriend are quarantined in Sonya. No one knows when they'll be back. Tell the hotel to change the groom's name to Chu Xian. The wedding will proceed as scheduled tomorrow. Those two messages were like bombshells, instantly setting the group chat ablaze. Chi Fang burst through the door in a rush and asked, "Sis, what's going on? Did that scumbag Cheng Jingsuo cheat on you and stand you up? How dare he treat my sister like this? I'm calling him right now to give him a piece of my mind." I signaled for the makeup artist to continue, soothing him softly. "It's fine. If I were to marry someone else before the wedding, it's the Cheng family who would be shamed. Go ahead and put the word out to keep this quiet. Try not to let Cheng Jingshuo find out before tomorrow's ceremony." Chi Fang was bewildered, asking me in a daze, "But why, sis?" "Because I want to publicly humiliate him. For Cheng Jingshuo, Chu Xian, and I grew up together in the same military compound, childhood friends from the very start. However, the two of them never got along, even as kids. Cheng Jingshuo was the quintessential model child everyone else's parents talked about, top of his class, methodical in everything he did, and always cool-headed. As for Chu Xian, in his grandfather's words, he's an untamed little rascal. It's bad enough that he gets into trouble on his own, but he always has to drag me into it. According to him, his grandfather can't bear to punish me, so his own punishment would be much lighter. What he forgot was, while his grandfather might go easy on me, mine certainly wouldn't. Growing up, I got punished right alongside him more times than I can count. In a way, it forged a deep, battle-tested friendship between us. My crush on Cheng Jingshuo is an open secret." "How open?" "Our parents from both families often tease us about it. Before meeting Zhao Jingjing, Cheng Jingshuo had always tacitly allowed it, whether it was me clinging to him, or others jokingly calling me his little wife. Chu Xian would often cup my face and shake it, saying, 'Let me see how much water has gotten into that head of yours.' To actually fall for a hypocrite like Cheng Jingshuo, a waterlogged brain is one thing, but to have such poor eyesight at your age, clearly, I'm so much more handsome than him. It's true, Chu Xian's looks are superior to Cheng Jingshuo's, standing at 186 centimeters. His body is all lean muscle from years of working out. His face is simply flawless. There are at least 3 film and TV companies I know of that have tried to sign him, promising he'd become an overnight sensation. But he has zero interest in the entertainment industry. His sole ambition is to follow in his father's footsteps and become a ruthless capitalist. Of course, even if he were interested, his grandfather, the high-ranking official, would never allow it. When he was 6, he once told me he would build me a huge house made of diamonds, a place more extravagant than the golden house Emperor Wu of Han built for his beloved, if he hadn't been tugging on my pigtails when he said it. I think I might have been a little touched, probably because Chu Xian and I were too close. He was either picking on me or getting me into trouble. Our relationship was more like brothers. As for Cheng Jingshuo, although his nature was aloof, he was always gentle and tolerant with me. Tell me, what young girl with a budding heart could resist a boy like that? 5. I always thought Cheng Jingshuo liked me too, that is, until Zhao Jingjing came along. I first met Zhao Jingjing at my 18th birthday celebration. Despite my family's reputation for integrity, our home was still filled with numerous business tycoons and political heavyweights on that special day. Just as I came downstairs in my evening gown, I saw Cheng Jingshuo walk in, holding hands with a stunningly beautiful girl. Amidst the hushed whispers and under the grim gaze of the Cheng parents, he calmly led her over to me and handed me a gift. "Susu, happy birthday. Oh, by the way, let me introduce you. This is my girlfriend, Zhao Jingjing." He then turned his head and looked at the girl beside him with a tenderness I had never seen before. "This is the birthday girl I told you about," he said, "my sister, Lin Su." In that moment, my mind went completely blank. I stood there frozen, clutching the gift, until Chu Xian thankfully stepped in and led me away. He took me up to the rooftop, where I crumpled into a corner and sobbed my heart out. I just can't wrap my head around it. How did something that felt so mutual suddenly turn into my own one-sided fantasy? And why, after never objecting to being called wifey before, has it suddenly become little sister today? Chu Xian was probably fed up with my crying, so he gave me a light nudge with the tip of his shoe. "Hey, cut it out. If Cheng Jingshuo doesn't want you anymore, you could always think about me." At the time, I lifted my head, my vision blurred with tears, and shot back at him. "Oh, thanks so much, I'll pass." He just shrugged and said, "Well, just remember to look me up whenever you need to. What are friends for?" This offer stands as long as I'm still single. Who would have thought that a few years later, those words meant to comfort me would actually come true? 6. I'm not the type to cling on desperately. Cheng Jingshuo brought his girlfriend to my coming-of-age ceremony. His intentions were as plain as day. I cut off all the ambiguous feelings between us, retreating to the little sister role he'd assigned me, and watched from a distance as he lost his mind over Zhao Jingjing. So, that cool and collected young man could be just as impulsive as any other hot-headed boy, and could also be racked with anxiety over the girl he loved. Both Cheng Jingshuo's grandfather and father were high-ranking military officers, and they were dead set on him pursuing a political career. Zhao Jingjing's father, on the other hand, was an alcoholic, a gambler, and had a criminal record. With a family like that, she was never going to be welcomed into the Cheng household. Mrs. Cheng took my hand and said, "Susu, our family will never accept that homewrecker. You are the only one his father and I recognize as our daughter-in-law. Xiaoshuo is just confused for the moment. I'll have a good talk with him later. Whether it's just a momentary lapse in judgment is something we both know the truth of. And frankly, I have no desire to get involved in their romance." I turned down Mrs. Cheng, but she was still hell-bent on tearing that loving couple apart. To force them to break up, she even threatened to take her own life. Driven to distraction, Cheng Jingsuo directed all his fury at me. After his mother was rushed to the operating room yet again for slitting her wrists, he slammed his fist into the white wall behind me, his eyes blazing red. "Fine, I'll do what you want. I'll break up with Jingjing and be with you. Okay, just tell my mom to stop making a scene." That was the only time I ever saw him break down. It was like a trapped beast that, after struggling 1,000 times, had to concede defeat, bitter and unwilling, but with no other choice. But I was innocent in all this, too. 7. My relationship with Cheng Jingshuo had hit rock bottom. Since the university wasn't far from home, I had been living there during my studies, to avoid them. I packed up my things and moved into the dormitory. Mrs. Cheng clearly hadn't expected Cheng Jingshuo to take his anger out on me. Worried about damaging the friendship between our families, she kept a low profile for a long time. After calming down, Cheng Jingshuo came to see me many times, trying to mend our relationship. I turned him down each time, using being busy as an excuse. The stalemate lasted for over 4 months, until a car crash finally broke the ice. Cheng Jingshuo must have been distracted while driving and crashed into a utility pole by the roadside. When I got the news and rushed to the hospital, Cheng's mother and Zhao Jingjing were sitting on a bench outside the operating room, their eyes red and swollen. The red light glowing above the operating room doors was painfully bright. After a surgery lasting over 4 hours and a week of observation in the ICU, Cheng Jingshuo's life was saved, however. His legs and arms sustained severe injuries that could potentially lead to permanent disability. Even so, the Cheng family still refused to accept Zhao Jingjing. Zhao Jingjing stayed by Cheng Jingshuo's side for over a month before breaking up with him. She was a smart woman, with her looks. She had no shortage of wealthy suitors. There was no reason for her to waste any more time on someone whose family didn't accept her and who was most likely a lost cause. 8. After Zhao Jingjing left, Cheng Jingshuo's temper grew increasingly violent. His mother was in tears every day. Whenever I didn't have classes, I would go to the hospital to keep him company. Chu Xian scolded me with bitter disappointment, calling me worthless. We grew up together. Before Zhao Jingjing came along, Cheng Jingshuo was truly impeccable in how he treated me. Now that he's in this state, I can't bring myself to abandon him. It has nothing to do with love. I stayed by Cheng Jingshuo's side through 2 years of changing seasons. There were surgeries, one after another, followed by rounds of rehabilitation. The process was long and arduous, but thankfully, the outcome was positive. After Cheng Jingshuo recovered, he confessed his feelings to me, holding a huge bouquet of roses. I turned him down. I told him I didn't need his gratitude, and certainly didn't need him to offer himself out of a sense of obligation. It took him 3 years after that to convince me his love was genuine. Zhao Jingjing's reappearance shattered the dream he had so carefully woven for me over 3 years. 9. Chu Xian arrived just as I had changed back into my own clothes. My makeup still untouched, a flicker of admiration flashed in his eyes, but he quickly suppressed it. "Grab your ID and household register. You're coming with me." I was puzzled and asked, "Where are we going?" "To get our marriage license." The night is long and full of dreams. What if my song Dynasty Are You, where Celadon glazed plate grows legs and runs away? He joked, a slight smile playing on his lips. He was clearly in a very good mood. Under the curious, gossipy, or bewildered gazes of my family and friends, I followed Chuzian out the door. It wasn't until a little red booklet was shoved into my hand that a surreal sense of disbelief washed over me. Cheng Jingshuo and I had originally planned to get our marriage license on Chishi Festival, but then he had to go on a business trip, because he went on a vacation to Sonia with his ex, so we postponed it until after the wedding, and yet, in less than a day, I had the license in hand, but with a different husband. After getting the marriage certificate, Chuzian took me to a jewelry store to pick out a pair of matching diamond rings. We're short on time, so there's no chance for a custom order. Wear this for now, and I'll get you a one-of-a-kind one later. No need, this one is perfect. I tried it on to check the size, and it fit perfectly. By the way, about us getting married, do you think we could keep it quiet for now? I'm worried Cheng Jingshuo might find out. Chuzian's sharp brows shot up, his handsome face darkening. What's that supposed to mean? Are you planning to rekindle things with him? I waved my hand in front of his face. Up close, the light refracted by the diamond made me squint slightly. Of course not, I just want to rub his nose in it right to his face. He stroked his chin, considering, the wedding news will definitely get out tomorrow. Telling him or not doesn't make much difference. No, he'll just think I'm doing this to be difficult. 10. Having come this far, I can't just be casual and magnanimous about it. 6 months ago, during a regular get-together with our old friends from the compound, Chuzian, idly twirling his wine glass, remarked offhandedly, I ran into Zhao Jingjing on a business trip the other day. The eyes of everyone in the room were fixed on Cheng Jingshuo and me. Sitting together, we all witnessed the intensity of Cheng Jingshuo's passion back then. He only paused for a brief moment, then continued peeling the shrimp for me without missing a beat. If he had told me back then that he still couldn't let go, I would have set him free without a second thought to pursue his true love, with my heartfelt blessing. But he didn't. In recent years, I never once doubted Cheng Jingshuo's feelings for me. That kind of tender, doting care, woven into the fabric of our daily life, is something no amount of acting skill could ever fake. It's just that his heart held more than just me. I was one of 2 options, and I was the one he chose second. Being treated as an option is one thing, but the one thing he absolutely should not have done was stand me up on such an important occasion. This is a complete and utter disgrace to our family's honor. 11. To be honest, our family and the Chu family are probably closer. Our grandfathers fought side by side in the trenches. They shared a bond forged in life and death situations. Later, my father and Chuzian's father even discussed going into business together when they were young. Compared to Cheng Jingshuo, they always preferred Chuzian. My mother has told me more than once that Cheng Jingshuo is too deep and complex for me to handle. Now that he's gone and done something so foolish again, my family, while thinking I acted a bit rashly, ultimately didn't say anything to blame me. As for the Chu family, putting our friendship aside, Grandpa Chu has 5 sons and 8 grandsons. The whole family is absolutely desperate for a little girl, according to my grandmother, when I was little. They even secretly looked into the possibility of kidnapping me to raise as their own. While stealing a child wasn't an option, I spent the better part of my childhood with the Chu family. They genuinely loved and treated me as one of their own. So, of course, they were delighted when I married into their family. Having grown up in the same compound, the 3 of us shared about 80 to 90% of the same social circle. So, it was inevitable that someone would tell Cheng Jingshuo. By the time Cheng Jingshuo's parents arrived, Chuzian and I had already exchanged rings, perhaps out of fear of my grandfather and Mr. Chu, or perhaps to save face. They didn't make a scene. They took their seats with dark, sullen expressions. My phone had been in Shun Tian's care since early morning when I started getting ready. She hung up every single call Cheng Jingshuo made. During the toast, Cheng's mother seized the chance to pull me aside into the restroom. Susu. It's true that Xiaoshuo was wrong for not being able to make it back from his business trip, but you've taken things way too far today. I know you're angry with Xiaoshuo, but marriage isn't a game. You can't just drag Xiaoxian into your tantrum because you're upset. What will all our friends and family think? While all the guests are still here, you need to go out and clear this up immediately. When Xiaoshuo gets back, I'll give him a good talking to. I'll make him apologize to you, auntie. I interjected politely. Cheng Jingshuo isn't on a business trip. He went to Sonia with Zhao Jingjing for Qixi Festival and got quarantined. My words stopped Aunt Cheng in her tracks. Her well-maintained face was a picture of utter disbelief. I gave her a smile and turned back towards the wedding banquet hall. As I passed the men's restroom, I happened to overhear Chu Xian on a phone call. "Oh, your wife is it? Well then, why don't you show up at the wedding? Come here right now. And I'll admit she's your wife." His tone had a slight, infuriatingly smug lilt to it. 12. It was already past 10 in the evening by the time everything was over. I got my phone back and scrolled through it. Cheng Jingshuo had called me countless times, from top to bottom. The entire call log was filled with his missed calls. I was just about to check the messages he'd sent when his call came through again. Without a second thought, I declined it and blocked his number. A few moments later, Chu Xian's phone on the side began to ring. I glanced at it. Sure enough, it was Cheng Jingshuo calling again. I reached over, picked it up, and hung up on him too. Just then, Chu Xian emerged from the shower. He was drying his still damp hair with a towel, a large bath towel wrapped around his waist. His defined abs were clearly visible, each muscle distinct. "What, checking up on me already on the first day of marriage?" he teased with a laugh. I swallowed hard. I knew he worked out regularly and must be in good shape, but I hadn't expected him to be so impressively built. Don't be ridiculous. That was just Cheng Jingshuo on the phone. I hung up. "What are you doing coming out like that? Go put some proper clothes on." Chu Xian stopped what he was doing and let out a low chuckle from his throat. "My dear lady, it's past 10 at night. I just got out of the shower in my own home and I'm about to go to bed. What exactly do you expect me to wear?" "Oh, right." I scratched my head, thought for a long moment, and stammered. "You should save yourself for your future wife. That's completely unnecessary. I have no intention of divorcing you. I don't want my old man to beat me to death. If you want me to stay alive and well, just forget about divorce. Given how much Grandpa Chu likes me, what he said might actually come true. Not only can't I get a divorce, but I also lost a Song Dynasty Ru-ware celadon glazed dish in the process, the one I spent a fortune on at the Sotheby's auction. That was so reckless of me." 13. Others are newlyweds, basking in the glow of their wedding night. All I want with Chu Xian is to be good roommates who don't bother each other. Blushing, I grabbed a quilt and scurried to the spare bedroom, and so began my cohabitation. No, scratch that, my roommate life with Chu Xian. After my shower, I couldn't find the hairdryer. I had to wrap up my hair and go borrow one from his room. I gave a few light knocks on the cream-colored door, and it opened quickly from the inside. He was wearing a bathrobe, loosely tied at the waist with a sash. His abdominal muscles were faintly visible, even more tantalizing than before. Seeing me, he froze for a moment. A blush quickly spread across his face. Clearing his throat, he said in a hoarse voice, "Maybe you should go put some clothes on first." This summer was much hotter than previous years. Early August in Beijing was still as stifling as a steamer. Even with the air conditioning on, there was still a lingering, stuffy heat. I was wearing only a silk nightgown. Water dripping from my hair had dampened a small patch of fabric on my chest, making the wet area transparent. I let out a shriek, turned around, and quickly ducked into the spare bedroom. 14. I'm so mortified. Even though Chu Xian was thoughtful enough to bring the hairdryer to me later, I still decided to avoid him for a couple of days. However, he didn't give me the chance to avoid him. A little over half an hour later, a few knocks came at the door. "Come out for dinner." I decided to refuse him with great dignity. "No, thanks, I'm not hungry. I hadn't eaten much all day." What with toasting at the lunch banquet and then dealing with the rowdy wedding games in the evening, I was fine until he mentioned it. But now my stomach is rumbling loudly. Chu Xian's voice was calm and measured. I ordered sweet and sour pork ribs, fried shrimp, cola chicken wings, mapo tofu, spicy stir-fried lotus root, sour and spicy shredded potatoes, braised eggplant. The next second, I opened the door. Under the temptation of all that delicious food, any sense of awkwardness, pride, or dignity was completely forgotten. The food at this place was so delicious, I couldn't help myself and ended up devouring 2 huge bowls of rice. My little belly was absolutely stuffed. After the meal, he got up to clear the table, wanting to stretch my legs a bit. I said, "Leave it, I'll take care of it." He didn't stand on ceremony, taking the leftovers to the kitchen, he turned to me with a smile and said, "In that case, you can do the dishes," rubbing my full little belly. I said okay and got up to head into the kitchen as well. Just as I turned on the faucet, a solid wall of muscle pressed against my back from behind. Chuzyan's arms encircled my waist as he put an apron on me. After tying the strings, he straightened up and murmured by my ear, as if by accident, "Your waist is quite slim." I couldn't help but blush furiously, then jabbed my elbow into his stomach. What a jerk. He actually had the nerve to flirt with me. 15, the next day. As I finished tidying up and stepped out of my room, Chuzyan was placing 2 bowls of porridge on the dining table. Seeing me, he smiled and called out, "I was just about to come get you." He was wearing a sky blue bib apron, with his medium-length bangs casually falling across his forehead, adding a touch of youthful innocence. Bathed in the morning sun, he was positively glowing, unfairly handsome, even though I was long used to that face of his. His radiant smile still managed to catch me off guard for a moment. By the time I snapped out of it, he was already guiding me by the shoulders and steering me toward a chair at the dining table. His voice held a hint of amusement. "What's with the daydreaming? Hurry up and eat your breakfast. I'll go shopping with you later." This apartment was prepared by the Chu family as a marital home for Chuzyan. We just moved in, so there's a lot we still need to buy and set up. There's a large supermarket right next to the apartment building. Pushing a shopping cart together, browsing the aisles and discussing what to buy, it almost felt like we were an ordinary couple. It's a shame we're married, but not really a couple in that sense. Chuzyan is a wonderful man. Falling for him wouldn't be difficult. The problem is we know each other too well, so well that it's hard to feel that spark, and then there's Cheng Jingshaw standing between us. I watched Chuzyan picking out a towel and let out a soft sigh. Oh well, I'll just take it one step at a time. He'll meet the right girl for him someday. When that day comes, I'll do everything in my power to help him get out of this marriage unscathed. After all, I was the one who dragged him into this mess. 16. Life went on, calm and uneventful. Because of the pandemic, we cancelled our honeymoon. During the day, we'd each go to work. In the evenings, I'd curl up on the living room sofa binge-watching shows, while he'd sit beside me with his laptop, working. Every now and then, he'd tease me just to get a rise out of me. Everything seemed the same as before, yet somehow different. Cheng Jingshaw returned to Beijing over 10 days later. He went back into quarantine upon arrival. Zhao Jingjing came back with him. Hearing this news, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. But it was just that, a pang of sadness. It didn't hurt the way it used to. After I blocked him, he even called me using Zhao Jingjing's phone, saying he could explain everything and asking me to wait for him. I don't see the need for any further explanation, but I still told him we'd talk after he gets back. Perhaps my tone was too calm, leading him to think my anger had subsided, and he wasn't wrong. The anger is gone, and so is any feeling in my heart. 17. I ran into Cheng Jingshaw again more than 10 days later. I must have forgotten to check my almanac before leaving the house that day. The car in front of me slammed on its brakes at a traffic light. I hit mine immediately, but still ended up rear-ending it. It should have been a simple matter for the insurance to handle. But the other driver, probably seeing I was just a young woman in a luxury car, saw an opportunity and wouldn't let it go, trying to extort more money. Someone so young driving such a nice car, your background must be a bit shady. Making a scene won't do you any favors. Pay me 10,000, and we'll call it even. I rolled my eyes skyward, not even wanting to waste my breath on someone like this. I called the police directly, then phoned Chuzyan and asked him to come over. The moment I hung up, I looked up and saw Cheng Jingshaw. A month had passed since I last saw him. He had lost a lot of weight and looked utterly worn out. His old clothes hung loosely on his frame. He stepped forward and asked, "A fender bender?" I pursed my lips and gave a curt, indifferent "Take my car and go. I'll handle things here." He offered me his car keys, but I didn't reach out to take them. No need. Chuzyan will be here in a moment. His hand, holding the key, froze awkwardly mid-air. His expression darkened, tinged with a hint of pleading. "I know it's my fault. I never expected Sonia to go into lockdown. I'll rearrange the wedding. Okay, please don't be angry with me." A faint smile touched my lips as I raised my right hand in front of him, the diamond on my ring finger glittering conspicuously. "I'm sorry, Mr. Cheng, but I'm already married." 18. Cheng Jingshuo's handsome face darkened a little more. Susu, stop this nonsense. If you're putting on this act with Chu Xian just to spite me, then you've succeeded. Can we just drop it? I looked him straight in the eye and said very seriously. I'm not joking, I'm really married, legally, with a marriage certificate and everything. His tall frame swayed slightly as he growled in disbelief. We never even broke up. That's right, we never did. But the moment you ditched me to spend Qixi Festival with Zhao Jingjing, you were dead to me. He stammered in a flustered tone. I really was just on a business trip to Shanghai. I never expected to run into her. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. So this is the excuse you've been racking your brains over for a whole month. Do you even believe it yourself? Cheng Jingshuo was left speechless. After a moment, he hung his head and apologized to me. I'm sorry, Susu. Please give me another chance. Before I could say a word, a large hand landed on my shoulder. Chu Xian's voice came from behind me. Well, if it isn't the great Casanova, Cheng. I turned my head to look at him and asked in surprise, how did you get here so fast? It's only been about 10 minutes since I called him. I thought I'd have to wait a bit longer. I was just in the neighborhood taking care of something. I rushed over as soon as I got your call, he replied with a smile, then raised an eyebrow at Cheng Jingshuo. What? Trying to steal my girl right out in the open? Cheng Jingshuo clenched his fists, his whole body trembling with anger. He snapped, you're the one who stole her from me. You took advantage of the situation. A smirk curled at the corner of Chu Xian's lips as he retorted, oh, so what? We're married now. Cheng Jingshuo charged forward, intent on hitting him. Chu Xian gently pushed me aside, taking the punch head-on before finally fighting back. They had always been opposites, one calm, the other restless, and when it came to fighting, the mismatch was clear. Cheng Jingshuo was quickly pinned to the ground and thoroughly beaten. The driver who had initially tried to extort me took one look at the situation and, seizing the moment the light turned green, silently drove off. 19. All three of us were taken to the police station together, and what started as a traffic accident turned into a case of assault, as luck would have it. The officer handling our dispute was an old acquaintance from the same compound, Chen Yi, who was a few years older than us. His eyes scanned the three of us, not even trying to hide his nosy, gossipy expression. Oh, so it came to blows. How do you want to handle this? Settle it privately or go through official channels? Chu Xian shrugged. Makes no difference to me. He threw the first punch. I was just defending myself. Me, no wonder he took that punch. He was setting this up all along. Let's hear why you were fighting. Cheng Jingshuo shot him a look. You're asking a question you already know the answer to. Chen Yi wasn't angry, just gave a sly, wicked grin. So stealing a man's wife is an unforgivable offense, is it? Cheng Jingshuo's eyes were bloodshot as he called out in a low, heavy voice. Chen Yi. Chen Yi didn't push his buttons any further. After giving us a stern talking to, the matter was just dropped. 20. It was painfully obvious that Cheng Jingshuo had no intention of leaving. Somehow, he'd found out the address of our marital home and showed up in the dead of night, pounding on the door. This time, he even brought Zhao Jingjing along with him. He braced his hand against the door to stop me from closing it, his voice frantic. Susu, I swear, there's nothing between us. If you don't believe me, ask her yourself. Zhao Jingjing stood behind him, wringing her hands with a timid expression. Miss Lin, Jing Shuo and I are just friends. I was under lockdown in Shanghai for nearly 3 months. Jing Shuo was just worried about me. He only took me out to get some fresh air. Nothing happened between us. I couldn't help but laugh. If I remember correctly, you two broke up 5 years ago. That's quite the long-lasting friendship you've managed to maintain. Just went out to clear her head. You make it sound so casual. And you had to pick the Qixi festival right before our wedding. Cheng Jingshuo quickly interjected. I went to end things with her. I planned to cut off all contact after we got married. I never expected there'd be a COVID outbreak in Sonya, so. What you're saying is, you were in contact before this. Cheng Jingshuo's head sank lower and lower. After a few minutes, he finally said in a flat, dry tone, no, we only got back in touch half a year ago. Half a year ago. Wasn't that when Chu Xian said he ran into Zhao Jingjing in Shanghai? He acted so nonchalant about it, but then went and contacted her behind my back. I don't know if I'm the fool, or if he's just that good of an actor. Trembling with rage, I swung my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Get out. It wasn't about love, but purely about the deception and betrayal. after knowing each other for over 20 years, he could have just been honest with me. A clean breakup, and we could have at least remained friends. After sending the two of them away, I threw myself on the bed and had a good, hard cry. I'd wasted my youth on them. I really did need a good cry. The next day, Chuseon took the day off on purpose to show me around. We visited the Forbidden City, climbed the Great Wall, and took photos at Tiananmen Square. During the day, we wandered through Marawa Hutong, soaking in the cultural heritage left by history. In the evening, we went to a bar in Huhai, listening to a singer with messy little braids crooning about love. Swirling the wine in my glass, I asked Chuseon what love was. I've never been fond of the taste of alcohol, even at obligatory social events. I only ever get lightly buzzed. Maybe it was the atmosphere, or maybe the bar's cocktails were just too strong. But by the time I asked that question, I was genuinely a little drunk. Chuseon's gaze was heavy as it settled on me. It wasn't until many years later, when I read an article dissecting the nature of love, that I suddenly remembered that intoxicating night. He had only said one word, "You, 21. Chuseon and I slept together. The most terrifying part was that when I woke up, I remembered every single thing. I remember everything that happened next with perfect clarity. After the guy with the dreadlocks took his guitar and left the stage, a fresh-faced young stripper took his place center stage. All rosy lips and fair skin. I downed what must have been my umpteenth cocktail and stood up, trying to push my way into the crowd, but Chuseon grabbed my arm. He squinted at me slightly and asked, "And just where do you think you're going?" My mind was perfectly clear, but my body seemed to have a mind of its own. Mimicking him, I squinted back and tried to wriggle my arm free from his grip. I just want to go touch him. And where exactly are you planning to touch? His voice dropped lower with each word, and that final rose in a dangerously seductive inflection. His abs. I'm gonna touch his abs. Hey, asterisk. I giggled like a lecherous train groper from one of those pixelated Japanese adult films. Chuseon pulled me forcefully, and I tumbled straight into his embrace. His right hand snaked behind me, his fingers lightly gripping the nape of my neck, while his left hand guided mine under the hem of his shirt. His forehead pressed against mine, his breath coming in soft pants as he murmured in a voice as bewitching as a siren's, "I have abs too, firmer than his. Would you like to feel for yourself?" Summoning my last shred of sanity, I suggested, "Maybe we should just go home and try this later." We never made it home, it was too far. Besides, the mood was right, and the tension was palpable. We checked into a themed love hotel and spent the night thoroughly exploring the mysteries of life. The central air conditioning in the room was set a little too high. I woke up early the next morning, overheated. Chuseon was clinging to me like a koala to a tree. I reached out to push him away. His long eyelashes fluttered a few times. He opened his eyes, stared at me for a few seconds, and finally came to his senses. He nuzzled his big, fuzzy head into the crook of my neck, his voice husky with that uniquely sexy morning rasp. "Don't move, let me sleep a little longer." I kept pushing him. I'm too hot. I really wanted to kick him, but I was so sore and achy. I just didn't have the strength. Chuseon didn't press the issue. He let go of me and obediently lay down beside me. I lay stiffly on the bed, staring at the ceiling and fuming inwardly. I really shouldn't have touched that drink. His slender fingers needed my fingertips. After a long moment, he said, "How about, we give this a try?" 22. I don't know how to respond. Logically, we're already married, so there's no need for such sentimentality. But after all these years of an on and off relationship with Cheng Jingshaw finally coming to an end, I can't help but feel a certain weariness about love itself. I continued to stare blankly at the ceiling and asked softly, "Can you give me some time? I've just gotten out of a relationship, and I honestly can't bring myself to jump right into another one. I don't want to owe him too much. If possible, I want to clear my heart out completely and save that space just for him." Chuseon gently kissed my forehead and said, "All right, I'll wait for you." He told me a long story. A tale of his unrequited love, something he yearned for but never dared to confess outright. He said, "Linsu, I'm terrified that one day you'll find out I have feelings for you, and we won't even be able to stay friends. I once read that if a little boy constantly picks on a little girl, it's because he likes her. Turns out, it's true." Chuseon's confession, years too late, made me run. A week later, I moved out of the apartment and straight into the office. Going home was out of the question. I was afraid my parents would grill me. Chuseon was still at work when I wheeled my suitcase out of the apartment. He was leading the charge on overtime lately, preparing a bid for a project and coming home very late every night. I think part of the reason was also to give me some space to think. He might seem a bit careless on the surface, but he handles matters with great consideration. 23. The company has a dedicated break room with Wi-Fi and all utilities included. I sent Shuntian a WeChat message, telling him I had moved out. Not long after I sent it, Chuseon's call came through. His voice was a bit hoarse. You moved out? Why did you leave? Did I do something wrong? I stayed silent. His voice grew quieter and quieter, finally tinged with hurt. He said, "Is it that you just can't accept me?" I said no, I just need some time alone to myself. Susu, don't feel pressured. From the moment I started liking you, I never expected anything in return. Come home soon, I'll be waiting for you. After hanging up, I pressed a hand to my chest. My heart was beating a little too fast. Moving out was the best news Cheng Jingshaw could have hoped for. He kept showing up at my office, but I had him turned away every single time. When he couldn't see me, he started sending flowers and gifts daily. I just had the receptionist toss them out. If we're ending things, let's make a clean break. No point in dragging it out. 24. For the next few days, Chuseon didn't contact me. He vanished from my world as if he'd evaporated into thin air. While I felt a sense of relief, there was also a tinge of loss. Just as I was debating whether to text him first, Auntie Cheng's call came through, her voice choked with tears. She asked me, "Susu, can you come to the hospital? Xiaoshuo was in a car accident. He just regained consciousness and is insisting on seeing you. Please, I'm begging you as your aunt, could you come and see him?" Hearing the tearful plea from an elder who had always doted on me since childhood, I simply couldn't bring myself to say no. "Auntie, please don't cry, I'll come right away." Cheng Jingshaw was swathed in bandages, but thankfully, his injuries weren't as severe as they had been a few years ago. A wide smile spread across his face when he saw me. The movement must have tugged at his wound. He winced and his expression went blank. "You're here. I knew you couldn't stay away." I placed the fruit basket I bought downstairs at the hospital on the table by his window. "You're overthinking it. I'm only here to see you as a favor to your mother. What happened this time? Where did you crash?" His eyes began to dart away, and his words lacked conviction. "I got distracted and accidentally hit a rock on the side of the road. That's an unconscious little tell he has when he's lying. After nearly losing his life in that last car accident, he's become far more cautious behind the wheel than most. So, the claim that he was distracted just doesn't hold water. There's only one possible reason he'd do this. He's up to his old tricks again." 25. I sighed and looked at him earnestly. "Do you realize you're playing with your life?" His voice trembled. "Susu." I didn't give him a chance to speak. "A few years ago, when you had that accident, I could take care of you, because back then we were friends, childhood friends who grew up together. You never betrayed me, you never deceived me. Even when you said those cruel things to me, it was because your heart belonged to someone else. But now it's different. You've betrayed our love, you've even betrayed our marriage. We can't go back, and that's final. Think about your parents. Don't ever do something so foolish again." After saying this, I let out a long sigh, and my voice softened. "I won't be coming to see you anymore. Take care of yourself." 26. On the way home, I sent Shuntian a message. "I'm absolutely certain I don't love Cheng Jingshaw anymore." Shuntian replied quickly. "He never deserved you in the first place. Darling, don't let yourself be trapped by your past relationship. You deserve to be loved. Every woman who takes life seriously deserves to be loved." I turned off the screen, closed my eyes, and tilted my head back to feel the September sun. The sunlight today feels exceptionally pleasant. In the evening, as if he had vanished from the face of the earth, my legal husband, Chuseon, gave me a call. A strange man's voice answered, sounding hearty and boisterous. "Is this the boss's wife? The boss has had a bit too much to drink. Could you come pick him up?" He gave me the address of a KTV. When I arrived, a round-faced young man was smoking by the entrance. He immediately stubbed out his cigarette upon seeing me and came forward with a grin. "Madam, you're finally here, Mr. Chu is inside. Let me take you to him." I asked in surprise. "You know me?" He scratched his head, revealing a pair of small canine teeth. "Your photo has been on Mr. Chu's desk for years. Due to our business partnership, I occasionally visited Chuzian's company. Yet I had never noticed it. As he led me inside, he chatted with me. President Chu has barely slept these past few days for this case, and tonight he drank so much, I'm worried if his body can handle it, but at least the bid was successful today, so all the hard work was worth it. I was taken aback. So, was he just too busy to contact me? 27. Pushing open the private room door, my eyes immediately found Chuzian sitting quietly in the corner. I reached out to pull him, but he nimbly dodged my grasp. The next instant, recognizing me, he threw himself forward and wrapped his arms tightly around my waist, burying his face against my chest. His voice was muffled. "Darling, what took you so long? I've been waiting for ages." He was clearly wasted. They were probably all a bit drunk, and the mood was electric. He was clinging to me, all sticky and clingy, with everyone around us hooting and hollering. I patted his head and awkwardly said goodbye to the hecklers. "I'll be taking this one with me." Drunk Chuzian was surprisingly well behaved. When I told him to let go, he did so immediately. Though he stubbornly insisted on holding my hand, he asked me, "Where are we going, honey?" I replied, "Home. Is this our home?" His eyes sparkled, with the light catching in them like little dancing stars. I was utterly lost in his gaze. "Yes, our home." 28. I moved back into our marital home. Chuzian and I officially began our life as a married couple. On his way home from work, he would often bring me a bouquet of flowers or a beautifully packaged little cake. I, in turn, started learning to cook the dishes he loves. On weekends, he enjoys keeping me up half the night, then holding me close and sleeping in with me until we wake naturally. It turns out that after marriage, you don't need grand, sweeping gestures. A gentle, steady flow of simple warmth is enough. Cheng's mother called me a few more times, asking me to go see Cheng Jingshuo again. I refused every time. I couldn't leave him with any illusion that there was still a chance for us. A few months later, I found out I was pregnant. Chuzian was overjoyed like a child, hugging me while crying and laughing. I teased him. "Was all that really necessary?" "Absolutely necessary. This is the child you gave me." Nestled in his arms, I thought to myself, a lifetime is long, and walking through it like this seemed just fine. 29. Just before the spring festival, I received a call from an unknown number. Since it showed up as a local Beijing number, I answered it. To my surprise, it was Cheng Jingshuo, whom I hadn't seen in ages. "I heard you're pregnant." I let out an absent-minded and asked him, "Is there something you need? If not, I'm hanging up." "Don't hang up. Susu, please don't hang up yet." Without waiting for him to finish, I hung up the phone and promptly blocked the number. After blocking him, I locked my phone, tossed it aside, and got up to head to the study. "Chuzian, your son is craving hot pot. Don't be silly, it's clearly our daughter." Chuzian gently patted my rounded belly and carefully guided me toward the door. "Honey, go get changed. Let's go get some hot pot, extra." 1. My name is Cheng Jingshuo, and I guess you could say I'm a bit of a player. The girl next door, Lin Su, is 2 years younger than me and she absolutely loves clinging to me. I can't figure out why she's so attached to me. She gets along much better with that guy, Chuzian. I never liked it when she hung out with Chuzian, but I never told a soul, because saying so would just make me look petty. The adults were always teasing us, saying she was my little wife. If I hadn't met Zhao Jingjing, I wouldn't have been opposed to marrying her. But as fate would have it, I did. Zhao Jingjing was my university classmate. Unlike Lin Su's cute and endearing looks, Zhao Jingjing possessed a beauty that was stunning at first glance. You know what they say, cute doesn't stand a chance against sexy. I couldn't agree more. If Lin Su is an angel, then Zhao Jingjing is a siren. Honestly, she's just too good at this. I'm completely wrapped around her little finger. After her repeated, wheedling pleas, I finally took her to Lin Su's coming-of-age ceremony. For the first time, the girl who always greeted me with a beaming smile and eyes that seemed to sparkle was left utterly speechless on the spot. My heart ached a little, but only just a little. In a daze, Lin Su was led away by Chuzian, while I was summoned by my parents to the garden outside and subjected to a torrent of scolding. I think I might have ruined a very important day in Lin Su's life, too. I knew my parents would object to me dating Zhao Jingjing, but I never expected their opposition to be so vehement. To make us break up, my mom tried reasoning with me first, and when that didn't work, she resorted to threatening suicide, pills, hanging, all sorts of dramatic stunts. After it happened again and again, I was completely fed up. After she was rushed to the hospital yet again for slitting her wrists, I finally unleashed all my pent-up rage on Lin Su, who was anxiously waiting nearby. With red-rimmed eyes, she stared at me in disbelief before turning and walking out of the hospital without a backward glance. That was the only time I ever lost my temper with her. Honestly, I regretted it almost immediately, but my pride wouldn't let me apologize. Lin Su was truly furious. She even went so far as to move straight into the school dormitory. As for me, I got a thrashing with a stick from my grandfather. For all these years, Lin Su has been following me around like a little shadow. Quiet and well-behaved, never making a fuss. After that incident, she completely cut me off. It was clear she was genuinely upset. It's my fault, really. What I said was too hurtful. I bought a gift and went to her school to see her, but she wouldn't even agree to meet me. I never realized how hard it is to cheer up a little girl. 3. On one hand, I can't seem to comfort Lin Su, and on the other, Zhao Jingjing is giving me the cold shoulder because I'm spending too much time with other girls. I haven't been able to sleep properly for days. The consequence of driving while exhausted was that I got into a car accident, a really bad one. Apparently, not long after a kind passerby dragged me out of the car, it burst into flames on its own. I guess you could say I narrowly escaped with my life. A little over a month later, Zhao Jingjing broke up with me. She sobbed, saying my family still wouldn't accept her, and she couldn't take it anymore. It must be my mom giving her a hard time again. Even though I was reluctant, I agreed. Whether I'll ever be able to walk again is still unknown, so why drag her down with me? 4. Jingjing Zhao left, but Sulin Lin has been coming to see me every day. I was dealing with both physical and emotional pain, so it's no wonder my temper was much shorter. Yet, she didn't seem to mind in the slightest and kept coming to keep me company every single day. My injuries were severe, requiring multiple surgeries. Every time I woke up from an operation, she was right there by my side. The most agonizing part was the physical therapy. There were so many times I wanted to give up, and it was always her gentle encouragement that kept me going. Witnessing all those little acts of kindness, one after another, it was impossible not to be deeply moved. Right then, I knew she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. After I recovered, I confessed my feelings to her, but she turned me down, saying she didn't need me to feel obligated to repay her. I replied with a smile, "It's not about pledging myself to you, but about wanting to take care of you for the rest of my life." She tilted her head and mumbled, "A lifetime is a long time. You should think carefully about that." She looked absolutely adorable. 5. I pursued Lin Su for 2 whole years before I finally convinced her of my love. After being with Lin Su for over half a year, I heard news about Zhao Jingjing from Chuxian. If I'm being honest, I was the one who wronged her back then. On a strange impulse, I sent a message to her old number. She actually never changed her number. We added each other on WeChat and started chatting frequently. As for Lin Su, she never checks my phone, so I wasn't worried she'd find out. Zhao Jingjing often sent me photos. Her figure was even better than it was 5 years ago, and her messages became more suggestive. After chatting for a few months, the COVID outbreak hit Shanghai. The entire city went into lockdown. To be honest, I'm still worried about Zhao Jingjing. After Shanghai lifted the lockdown, Zhao Jingjing messaged me, asking me to visit her. I hesitated. My wedding with Lin Su is approaching. We've already planned to get our marriage certificate on Qixi Festival. I'm afraid I won't have enough time. Zhao Jingjing knows exactly how to get to me. Seeing my hesitation, she straight up sent me a provocative, sexy photo. Well, you know men 9 out of 10 have a wandering eye. Lin Su is quite conservative, and I've always maintained a gentle, considerate image around her. Even after all this time together, we've only ever kissed, and just light pecks at that. I did the math on the timing. I should be able to make it back before Qixi Festival. I told Lin Su I had a business trip to Shanghai, and sure enough, she didn't suspect a thing. 6. I spent 2 days in a drunken stupor. Just as I was buying a ticket to return to Beijing, Zhao Jingjing latched onto me again, nestled in my arms and toying with my buttons. She asked me pitifully if I could accompany her to Sonia. I said I had to go home. Lin Su was waiting for me. She said she knew I was getting married, and that she wouldn't bother me anymore after the wedding. Lin Su and I have so many more Valentine's days ahead of us, she said, so just give her this year's Qixi Festival. As she said this, Her eyes were glistening with tears. I simply couldn't say no. I called Lin Su and told her I'd run into a bit of a problem and might be a couple of days late getting back. I promised her I'd definitely make it in time for the wedding. She's always been so sensible, just reminding me to be careful out there. We booked our flights to Sonya and spent a romantic Chishi festival there. Just as we were preparing to head back, a COVID-19 outbreak hit Sonya. I panicked. 7. There's no telling how long this lockdown will last. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm going to miss my own wedding. I called Lin Su again to discuss postponing the wedding. What I never expected was for Zhao Jingjing to suddenly speak up. I hung up the phone in a hurry, but I'm certain she heard it. I told her to wait for me, that I could explain. Though, to be honest, I'm not sure how. She's so hard to appease. Last time I snapped at her, it took years to make it right. Who knows if she'll ever forgive me for this? A sudden fear came over me. The next day, I was supposed to be standing at the end of the red carpet, watching Lin Su in her white wedding dress walk toward me, step by step. But now, I'm just locked inside this hotel room. All the messages I've sent to Lin Su have gone unanswered. I'm so frustrated. I opened WeChat, thinking I'd send her another message to try and smooth things over, when I saw a friend had sent me a short video. In the video, my bride glided gracefully down the aisle in her white gown, yet at the other end of the red carpet, standing in my place, was Chu Xian. I frantically called her, only to have the call rejected again and again. With no other choice, I called my mother, hoping she could stop the wedding. She must be doing this to get back at me. She must be, her and Chu Xian. How could that even be possible? 8. I smashed everything in the room that could be smashed. Zhao Jingjing tried to come forward and hug me, but I shoved her away. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you wanting to come to Sonya, I'd be at my wedding right now, marrying my Susu. She was probably scared off by me and didn't dare get close again. The more than 10 days I spent in quarantine in Sonya nearly drove me insane. Susu blocked me. I asked my mom for help, but she just called me a fool and washed her hands of the whole thing. I can't eat, I can't sleep. My mind is completely consumed by the thought of whether Susu will really leave me. It turns out, without even realizing it, my feelings for her have grown this deep. After over 10 days in quarantine in Sonya, I brought Zhao Jingjing back to Beijing with me. Having her explain things to Susu in person should carry more weight, I suppose. 9. Susu said she and Chu Xian have already gotten their marriage certificate. All my explanations fell flat in front of her. Not only did they fail to convince her, but they also revealed that I had been in contact with Zhao Jingjing before. She kicked me out. It was clear she was furious. I tried every way to beg for her forgiveness, but nothing worked. With no other options left, I decided to take a desperate gamble. I deliberately drove my car into the curb, yet, she saw right through my intentions. After giving me a stern lecture, she left with unwavering resolve. I think, for us, it's really over now. In the end, I lost the girl whose eyes were only for me. Story 2. The power went out during the evening self-study session. Haley suddenly leaned in and kissed me, and the hand around my waist slipped under my clothes. I blushed with shame, yet felt a secret sweetness inside, thinking that my hopeless first love was finally bearing fruit. It wasn't until I was at Haley's house and heard his friend teasing him. Did you check the goods with your own hands? Is the school committee member's figure hot? Haley smiled meaningfully. She's too hot. It's okay for some fun. But when it comes to having real feelings, I'd still go for someone as pure as the school beauty. I didn't make a sound. After turning around and leaving, I quietly applied for the recommended admission quota for the provincial team competition. Haley's words were like a bucket of ice water poured over my head in the spring. My pounding heart was instantly cooled down, leaving me embarrassed and at a loss. In Haley's house, his friends burst into laughter. Not bad. The school committee member looks really promising. I heard Haley can get her tonight. After you're done, you have to share how she is with us. That figure of the school committee member is really something. We should record it and savor it later. Haley cursed with a laugh. Scram. Do you think I'm a porn video? As if they had discovered something, they whistled again. Wow, Haley, did you give this to the school committee member? These black silk stockings, suspenders, and lace are practically the same as not wearing anything. Haley, you're not going to let the school committee member come dressed like this, are you? So hot. Haley snatched the phone back and said casually, I came across it by accident. It suits her. and she seems to like it a lot. Someone joked with him, "The school committee member has been chasing Haley for so long and is so attractive, she must be eager to show more. I just wonder if after tasting the strong flavor, Haley will find the school beauty too plain." Haley's voice suddenly became much more serious. "How can they be the same, all of you? Behave yourselves. Maria is one thing. But don't scare Florence. The school beauty is Florence, and I am Maria." I covered my lips, and tears of shame and embarrassment streamed down uncontrollably. I was shaking all over and only managed not to fall by leaning against the wall. The long overcoat I was wearing covered my whole body. Under the overcoat, however, was a choker with a pink ribbon, a black lace bra, suspender fishnet black silk stockings, and a bunny tail sticking out of a miniskirt. I was almost naked. It was exactly the set that Haley gave me. From the very beginning, Haley was the one who kept crossing the line. During class, he secretly hooked my hand under the desk, interlacing our fingers. I couldn't shake him off no matter how hard I tried. During the lunch break, I was resting on the desk. When he came back from playing basketball, he propped one hand against the wall and trapped me in his embrace. The wild hormones rushed towards me. I blushed with shame and didn't know what to do. He picked up the water I had placed on the desk, tilted his head back. The glistening water droplets slid down his Adam's apple and landed on my collarbone, searing into my heart. He licked the water stains from the corner of his mouth and smiled wickedly. "The school committee member smells so good, and the water is sweet too." At the sports meeting, the boys on both sides whistled and laughed at the way I was running, and I was extremely embarrassed. In the end, I fell down in a flustered state. It was also Haley who carried me to the infirmary. After the coming-of-age ceremony at 18, Haley couldn't wait any longer. He became bolder and crossed the line more and more with me. Taking advantage of the power outage during the evening self-study, he pressed me into his arms, our skins touching, and plundered me wantonly. I shyly tried to dodge, but he pinched and kissed me even more domineeringly. His magnetic and hoarse voice exploded in my heart. "School committee member, I want you." Everything seemed to be going smoothly. He gave me small gifts that are usually only given between lovers. I put them on, feeling ashamed yet sweet, and went to the appointment full of joy. I thought that we finally loved each other, and secretly looked forward to the first bloom of my youth. But Haley's words shattered all my expectations and dignity word by word. It turned out that my sincere feelings were just the subject of their ridicule. The body that I was willing to show because of love was called hot and slut in their mouths. I foolishly thought that Haley finally liked me too, but the person he considered as his love interest from beginning to end was only Florence. I was the strong flavor that could be played with casually, while she was the treasure that couldn't be scared. It turned out that love or not, it could all be played with. When Haley's friends left, I hid in the stairwell. I covered my lips tightly, holding back my sobs, but the tears still welled up and spilled over. My phone vibrated and then stopped. Since Haley couldn't get through to me on the phone, he sent me several pictures. Haley, ultrathin 001, JPG. Haley, aren't you coming yet? Haley, which one do you like? Haley, do adults want them all? I didn't reply, and he sent more. Haley, does the little wildcat want to go for real? Haley, you should have the pills. I gripped my phone tightly, and the belated shame and embarrassment welled up in my heart. The endless sourness spread in my heart and gradually turned cold. I bit my lips, but the tears that I couldn't control just wouldn't stop. I wrapped my overcoat tightly around me and turned to leave. I cried so much that my eyes were swollen, and I took a half-day leave. In the afternoon, I entered the classroom after the teacher started the class. Haley stared at me intently, and the veins on his forehead bulged. He was angry that I stood him up the day before. He wrapped his arm around my waist from behind and pinched me warningly. I pushed his hand away with force, and he angrily pushed his elbow heavily onto my desk. He wrinkled my notebook and swept my stationery onto the floor. I didn't say anything and dodged his hand. I bent down to pick up the stationery. He poked his cheek with his tongue, and his eyes looked sinister as he stared at me. Halfway through the class, there was a sudden commotion on the playground downstairs. Someone had fainted. The classmates all went downstairs to see what was going on. The moment I saw that the person who had fainted was actually Florence, Haley suddenly tensed up, pursed his lips, and pushed me aside. "Get out of the way." Ignoring the fact that the class was still going on in the classroom on the second floor, he stepped on my seat and jumped out of the window. after climbing down the tree trunk outside the window. He rushed towards the playground. He gently picked Florence up and carried her to the shade of the trees. When I and other classmates arrived at the playground, we happened to see Haley leaning down and kissing Florence. He put away his usual cynical attitude, and his movements were careful and restrained. It was as if he was protecting a fragile treasure. Even though it was just artificial respiration, the girls all covered their faces and screamed. Haley also blushed. Florence let out a soft moan and finally woke up. Haley. Her voice was soft and delicate. Haley gently stroked her hair, his eyes filled with tenderness and love. Yes, I'm here. He took off his school uniform jacket and draped it over Florence, then picked her up in his arms like a princess. The summer breeze carried a hint of youthful ambiguity. The prince who saved the princess treated her with care and solemnity. The screams around were almost deafening. I stood there, staring blankly at the scene. When Florence saw me, she bit her lips, shrank shyly and fearfully into Haley's arms, and pushed him softly. Haley, don't do this. Your girlfriend is still here. This isn't right. Haley turned his head to look at me, the tenderness in his eyes vanishing, replaced by sharpness and coldness. Girlfriend? Does she even deserve that? I opened my mouth, but before I could say anything, Haley raised his hand and covered Florence's ears. Maria, don't think that just because I've touched you a few times, you have the right to interfere with me. If you dare to make things difficult for Florence, I will never forgive you. Leaning in his arms, Florence's seemingly innocent eyes flashed with a hint of triumph, and she gently curled the corner of her lips at me. My heart seemed to be torn apart, and the pain was unbearable. Why? He clearly likes Florence, so why did he still touch me? Why did he treat me as a tool to relieve his desires and humiliate me in front of everyone like this? He slandered me for being hot, speculated that I took drugs, and played with me wantonly. My body, my feelings, my self-esteem, even the friendship we had for so many years. It turned out that in his eyes, all of these meant nothing. I felt extremely ashamed and embarrassed. Tears welled up uncontrollably. I lowered my head and clutched the corner of my clothes, turning around and leaving. That night, the campus network was flooded with messages. Haley is so handsome. No wonder he's the school bully. Who wouldn't fall for him? Screenshot of his eyes. JPG. The school bully's eyes are so sincere. When will I be looked at with such loving eyes? By the way, that deskmate of the school bully, his childhood friend, is really hilarious. Not only does she keep pestering him and throwing herself at him, but she also insists on embarrassing herself in public. From what the school bully said, he's already opened the package and played with her several times. Maria, she's just a big-breasted and brainless vase. She looks like a seductive slut. She's probably already been played out. I heard she even asked the school bully to give her that kind of clothes to wear. Tilda. The type of Maria is probably only liked by greasy old men, right? What rich and beautiful girl. Maybe she's already been taken care of. She probably has a bunch of sugar daddies behind her back. I'm so annoyed by her pestering Haley every day. The school beauty and the school bully are a perfect match. Okay, if this were a romance novel, she'd be the evil female supporting character. That's right. But now that they've sealed their love with a kiss, the school beauty will definitely be easily won over Tilda. And Haley only replied briefly in the thread discussing Florence. Haley, don't talk nonsense. It's not nice to girls. I stared blankly at the messages. My heart, which had already gone numb, ached again. I tilted my head back and took a deep breath to stop the tears from falling. It turns out that waking up from a dream really hurts. My phone vibrated. Leonard, senior sister. Are you okay, Leonard? Have you seen the campus network, senior sister? If you haven't, don't look at it, Leonard. Those people on the internet don't know senior sister at all. They have too much malice. Leonard is a junior from the same school who is on the same competition team as me. During the summer vacation, we had training together, participated in the competition, and won awards. The team members have a good relationship. I paused my finger that was about to reply, and then typed a few words. Maria, our provincial team won the gold award in the competition. Is there a recommended admission quota? Leonard, the team leader teacher said before that it's a pity for senior sister to give up such a good opportunity. It's good that senior sister has thought it through. I'm also going to apply, so I'll send senior sister a copy of the application form too. Leonard sent it almost instantly. Leonard, file, zip. Maria, You're only a sophomore. Isn't it too early to apply for recommended admission? Leonard typed for a long time but didn't send anything. I simply stopped thinking about it and just replied, "Thank you. Can you keep the matter of the recommended admission a secret for me?" Our team won the gold award in the competition, and the recommended admission is to some of the best universities in the country. Originally, I gave up the recommended admission quota because I wanted to go to the same university as Haley. My mother and Haley's mother are close friends. Haley and I are childhood sweethearts. We have been playing together since we were little, and we have been in the same class from primary school to high school. But after Haley's parents divorced, Haley's grades plummeted. He had no interest in studying and became carefree and cynical. He hung out with people who didn't seem like students, learned to smoke, drink, and fight, and became wild and unrestrained. He became a real school bully. But even so, in the eyes of many girls, he is still the young master of the Jiang family, the kind of guy who is bad but lovable. I didn't want to see him continue to degenerate. I tried to get close to him, understand him, and lead him back on the right path. Using the excuse of being his deskmate and the school committee member, I tutored him, pretending to be his childhood friend. I drove away his hooligan friends and forced him to go home obediently with me. I took care of him and chased after him, thinking that I could save him. Behind my back, they all said, "Maria is not Haley's girlfriend, but she always pester him. Maria is a slutty girl who throws herself at Haley and is his lapdog. Maria has a big bust but no brains. She only knows how to seduce people with her body, but Haley still doesn't like her." I could pretend not to care about all these words, until I heard that Haley also said such things. All my efforts and perseverance were like a joke. When Haley got close to me and kissed me, how excited I was. When I heard those words, how heartbroken I was. I still can't help but think of that deep, sticky, and wet kiss in the dark. The wave of passion engulfed my breath, as if it would never fade away. That was my first kiss. It was also the first time someone touched my body. But when I saw the pieces of fabric on the floor that couldn't even be called clothes, thinking of everything that happened during the day, the intense humiliation and shame surged up again. Tears streamed down my face. I gave myself a hard slap. "Maria, it's time to wake up. Don't dream anymore, and don't think about him anymore." I threw these things into the trash can with force. It was like throwing away that humiliated self. I soaked in the water and scrubbed every inch of my skin vigorously. I wanted to completely wipe away all the feelings he had left on my body. I couldn't sleep all night, and I caught a fever in a daze in the morning, so I took another half-day leave. In the afternoon, I went to school in a daze and submitted the application for recommended admission. As soon as I came out of the teacher's office, my wrist was suddenly grabbed and I was dragged into a confined space. Haley's handsome eyebrows and eyes loomed large in front of me. His eyebrows were bold and wild, and there was a faint smell of tobacco on him. He didn't smile. He held my hand tightly and questioned me aggressively. "Maria, what do you mean? Are you playing hard to get with me? You didn't answer my calls and didn't reply to my iMessage messages. Are you just trying to pick a fight with me? Where did you go that day? Why didn't you wear the clothes I gave you?" His eyes narrowed, and his tone was clear with a hint of threat. When I saw clearly where I was, I became wide awake in an instant. It turned out to be a cubicle in the boys' restroom. I was so angry that I was shaking, and a wave of nausea washed over me. My vision went white, and I couldn't say a word. Haley paused for a moment, then suddenly pressed his forehead against mine, raising his eyebrows in surprise. "You're burning up. Are you really sick?" His grip loosened, and he smiled. "Forget it. I'll forgive you this time." I bent over and curled up, trying my best to hold back the urge to retch. "You're sick and you didn't even say anything. But you still can't just ignore my messages. You stood me up and now you want to avoid me." Haley criticized me for ignoring him these past few days. Seeing that I didn't respond, he suddenly thrust his hand under my clothes and said with a wicked smile, "Let me check if the school committee member has finished the homework I assigned." I was completely unable to resist as he forcefully pulled me into his arms and started groping me. His strength was great, his actions were domineering, and his breath was scorching hot. His big hand wantonly wandered over my skin, groping and kneading me lewdly. I wrapped my arms around my chest and desperately pushed him away. Just yesterday he said those words. And today he still wants to use me to satisfy his desires. How long does he want to humiliate me? I I felt extremely humiliated and desperate, and couldn't help but shed tears. With all my might, I sobbed and resisted. No, when he saw that I was crying, Haley stopped his actions. After a moment of silence, he held me even tighter, his voice lewd and sarcastic. "What's wrong, little wildcat? Are you still angry?" He seemed to be coaxing me gently. But the words that came out of his mouth were like knives piercing my heart. "Are you jealous because of what happened yesterday and the things they posted on the internet? Maria, we're all adults. What happened between us was consensual and doesn't mean anything. I thought you understood that. Just because of these things, you want to tie me down. That's too much pressure, isn't it? Besides, that was to save someone's life. If you're so petty, it's not fun at all. It's a matter of life and death. You're old enough to know the difference between what's important and what's not. No wonder they say you're too fierce, just like a wicked female supporting character." So he saw everything and knew everything. He clearly knew how cruel those comments and discussions were for a girl. That's why he couldn't wait to leave a message to protect Florence when her name was mentioned. But he said those things about me in public. And he never even explained a single word on my behalf. It's just because he gave all his pity and cherishment to another girl in his heart, and I was just a tool for him to vent his desires. I didn't deserve anything. I was nothing. Tears welled up and streamed down my face. With all my strength, I slapped him across the face. Looking into his eyes, I said word by word, "Seriously, Haley, I won't care about you anymore." The playful look on Haley's face crumbled inch by inch, and the strength in his hands suddenly increased. He gripped my chin, his dark eyes faintly red, looking at me fiercely and helplessly. "Maria, say that again." I defiantly stared back at him. My vision was blurred, and I choked back my sobs but spoke firmly. "Haley, I said I'll never, Before I could finish, Haley covered my lips with his. He kissed me urgently and fiercely, holding me tightly in his arms. I was kissed breathlessly and pounded on him with all my might. My vision went dark, and I felt nauseous. There was no longer the throb and passion of that first kiss in the dark. All that was left was humiliation and powerlessness. Haley's fingers roughly brushed across my swollen and red lips. "Maria, I'll pretend I didn't hear what you just said. Don't be jealous for no reason. Didn't I come to find you? Be good and stop making a fuss." He gripped my waist and pressed my upper body against his, in this dirty and narrow cubicle of the boys' restroom. He looked at me with a burning gaze and smiled lazily and wickedly. "Don't forget, you still owe me one time." I just felt it was absurd. It seemed as if all my tears had been shed. My heart was filled with desolation. What on earth did he take me for? My head was dizzy, and my heart ached intermittently. My blood was surging, and everything went dark before my eyes. I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes again, I was already in a hospital ward. My mother propped up the hospital bed for me and said worriedly, "How do you feel? Are you still uncomfortable? You're such a child. Even though senior year of high school is important, you can't put so much pressure on yourself. You were participating in the competition in another place during the vacation and didn't have a good rest. Even though grades are important, Mom just wants you to be healthy and happy." My nose tingled, and my heart felt warm. I replied sullenly, "Yeah." I didn't tell my mother about the recommended admission quota that I could get because of winning the competition. Before, I wanted to go to the same university as Haley. At least, I wanted to get into a university in the same place as him. Haley and I had been in an ambiguous relationship for so long, and our parents on both sides had noticed it and were happy about it. They had already tacitly agreed that we would become a couple sooner or later. Now, I didn't want to care about Haley anymore. But I didn't have the energy to explain to my parents or get entangled with Haley, so I decided to wait until we naturally separated before talking about it. My mother peeled a lychee for me and said with a smile, "Someone came to see you just now and brought a big box of lychees. You love eating them, don't you? He stayed with you for a long time. He just went out and will be back soon. You should thank him properly." My heart tightened, and I felt sullen. There weren't many people who knew I loved eating lychees. Besides my parents, it was Haley. I clenched the quilt tightly, feeling mixed emotions in my heart. The door of the ward was soon knocked on, and a clear and pleasant male voice came. "Auntie, is senior sister feeling better?" I widened my eyes and turned my head. The boy who came in was wearing a clean and tidy white shirt. His fingers were long and slender. He was slowly rolling down his sleeves. His voice was gentle and low, and he smiled quietly and shyly. It was Leonard. I clearly didn't want to see Haley, but the moment I saw that it wasn't Haley, my heart still couldn't help but ache and feel sour. I cursed myself for being so foolish, but the feelings I had for so many years couldn't be erased from my heart all at once. I could only try to get over them slowly. Seeing this, my mother stood up and left. "You two talk, I'll go buy some food." Leonard declined for a while but was still left to have a meal with me. In the ward with just the two of us, I raised my head and thanked him with a smile. "Thank you, junior brother." Leonard sat by the bedside. After a moment of silence, he said, "If you don't want to smile, senior sister, you don't have to pretend in front of me, senior sister." I felt inexplicably embarrassed. I picked up my phone, but Leonard pressed down on my hand. "Don't look, senior sister." But after touching my hand, he quickly withdrew his hand. The tips of his ears turned slightly red. "I didn't mean anything else, it's just that." I opened iMessage, and countless messages immediately popped up. Many classmates and friends who were concerned about me sent messages. I replied to them one by one until I saw a message sent by one of Haley's hooligan friends. "Charlie, how much for one time? Name your price." I replied with a question mark in disbelief. The other person's messages immediately came one after another. "Charlie, you're still pretending to be innocent even after all this." "Charlie, campus network screenshot, JPG." "Charlie, the slut who was played with until she fainted in the boys' restroom on the second floor is still playing hard to get." "Charlie, now the whole school knows about it. You've even made a name for yourself. Just name your price." "Charlie, what? Haley can play with you, but I can't." I tremblingly clicked on the screenshot. It was a post on the campus network. The title was, "Shocking." The sexy goddess of Class 2, Senior Year 3 was almost naked, her body wet, and fainted in the cubicle of the boys' restroom on the second floor. The post described in detail the process of me being taken out of the boys' restroom and sent to the infirmary. The accompanying picture was a secretly taken photo. In the photo, I had already fainted from the fever, with my wet eyes closed, my face flushed, and my lips swollen and red. The thin summer school uniform was soaked with sweat and stuck to my body, outlining my full curves and revealing a faint pink underneath. What was even worse was that my school uniform had been pulled and loosened by Haley. I was disheveled, revealing a large area of skin on my chest and waist. My delicate and deep curves were fully exposed, making people's imaginations run wild. It was clearly just a case of fainting from a fever, but it had been distorted into something. After clicking on the original post, a screen full of foul language stung my eyes. The classmates in their adolescence were most interested in such topics. Haley had just said those words yesterday, and this happened today. It was like conclusive evidence nailing me to the pillar of shame. Everyone was excitedly discussing. "Thank you, Maria, this figure is really something. Is there going to be an encore? Can I just stay in the boys' restroom on the second floor from now on? What did I miss? Why didn't I go to the boys' restroom on the second floor and check it out? Maybe I could have had a good time too. We're all classmates. You guys are so disgusting." She had already taken a sick leave. She was just not feeling well. Some female classmates also stood up indignantly to defend me, but there were more of the most mean-spirited insults towards girls. Yeah, she must really have a fever, right? Otherwise, why would she faint in the boys' restroom? Maybe she was just confused from the fever and went to the wrong restroom. Do you really believe she went to the wrong restroom? So, are there any guys who had a good time? Come and tell us how many people have had a go and what it was like. It's so funny. You should ask Haley, right? I heard he was the one who saved her. I wonder if it's the first time. Our Haley has saved the beauty again. Tilda, maybe the sexy goddess wasn't even willing. Florence, stop talking, everyone. Maria was just not feeling well. It's too much to talk about a girl like this. Even if she did something, it's her own freedom. After this sentence, Haley quickly replied to the post. "Haley, don't talk nonsense. She had a fever, and I was just taking care of her." No one believed this flimsy explanation. Can a fever make you go to the boys' restroom? I think it's a different kind of fever. I wonder how many heroes took care of her before Haley showed up. Maria has always been pestering Haley, right? So did she try to seduce Haley in the boys' restroom but was rejected? Or was she picked up by someone else? Haley, come out and say something. But except for that one sentence, Haley never showed up again. Tears fell one by one onto the phone screen. My heart ached as if it was being cut to pieces. It was Haley who forcefully dragged me into the cubicle of the boys' restroom, groped me, and humiliated me wantonly, but he casually skipped over all of that. He let all those filthy and demeaning insults be thrown at me, drowning me completely. Leonard took out a tissue and clumsily wiped my tears for me. Senior sister, those are all rumors made up by people who don't know you. I've already contacted the school network administrator to delete the post. Don't listen to their nonsense. Senior sister, I raised my head and asked him with a bitter smile, how do you know that it's all their rumors? What if it's impossible. I know that senior sister is definitely not that kind of person. There was full of pity in Leonard's eyes as he looked at me, and he said without hesitation, in that situation, senior sister definitely didn't do it willingly. My heart warmed, and the tears kept falling. Otherwise, you wouldn't have ignored me. He said something in a very soft voice. And I didn't catch it. What did you say? Nothing. Leonard lowered his head and scrolled through his phone. Senior sister, the post has been deleted. After a moment of silence, Leonard asked me carefully, senior sister, maybe, can Haley explain this? I shook my head bitterly. In such an embarrassing situation, how could he possibly explain it? Once he did, he would have to admit in front of his beloved Florence that he had dragged another woman into the boys' restroom. Everyone understood what the ambiguous and naked primal impulse behind this meant. Leonard nodded. Then, can I explain it? I looked at him blankly. Leonard smiled. I'll just explain that senior sister was sick. I won't put senior sister in an awkward position. I hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Leonard left before my mother came back. Seeing that I was crying, my mother hugged me and comforted me for a long time. She asked me what had happened, but I just shook my head. I didn't want my mother to see those embarrassing things. After the meal, I picked up my phone again. The posts on the campus network had been deleted completely. In the class group, perhaps because I was still in the group, there weren't any overly excessive remarks. Instead, they were chatting about other gossip. Someone posted a screenshot of Florence's Ines story in the group. Sports committee member, what's going on? Is the school beauty officially announcing something? Florence. Is this what it's like to love someone? He's clearly a fierce and bad big wolf in front of others, but in front of you, he's just a silly little dog trying his best to make you happy. The accompanying picture was a clumsily sewn little rabbit doll. It was clumsy and rough, but it was something I made with my own hands when I was a child and gave to Haley. I stared blankly at this photo. My tears had dried up, and my heart was completely broken. When I was a child, my parents often went on business trips. I would go to Haley's house for dinner and do my homework. I missed my parents very much, but I didn't want to worry Aunt Jiang. I would always hide in the bathroom and secretly wipe away my tears. Haley noticed and kept playing with me, so that I didn't have time to feel lonely and sad. We made a pair of small dolls together, a little rabbit and a little dog. I didn't know how to make them, and Haley patiently taught me step by step, in order to practice. My little hands were full of wounds from being pricked by needles, yet he kept blowing on the small cuts on my hands, coaxing me with a pained expression. When he gave me the little dog doll, Haley said, Maria, when you're alone, the little dog will accompany you instead of me, and your little rabbit will accompany me instead of you. The little dog and the little rabbit will always be together, and we should also be this close for a lifetime. But now, the little dog doll representing him is still placed on my bedside. The little rabbit doll representing me, however, has been given by him to another girl. I opened Haley's iMessage, deleted and blocked him, from my contacts, and from my life as well. When I'm in a bad mood, I also recover from my illness slowly. I've been packing up my things and sorting out my feelings on and off at home. I classified one by one the things that Haley had given me before. The limited edition vinyl record that he queued up for a whole day to buy when I was obsessed with original sound. The Polaroid photo taken when he suddenly hugged me from behind under the aurora in Lapland. The ruby rose ring from the Renaissance period that he spent 2 days hunting for in the antique market in Florence and brought back. And many, many more. Finally, there was that little dog doll that he made with his own hands, representing him. All these were packed into a big box. Out of the light, Haley came to look for me several times. I didn't open the door and pretended not to be at home. One night, a class committee member sent me a message asking, Class committee member, what exactly is going on between you and Haley? Maria, class committee member. Haley has been acting crazy lately. Can't you do something about him? Maria, what? Class committee member, when will you come back to school? Before I could reply, the class committee member suddenly sent a voice call. When I answered it, it was Haley's voice on the other end. Maria, how long are you going to keep making a fuss, blocking me, playing such petty tricks just to get my attention? Right, if you have the guts, never show up in front of me again. Who wants to go to the same university as you? If it weren't for you being unable to live without me, do you think I really wanted to? Haley's words were sharp and full of sarcasm. I was silent for a moment, then replied softly, okay, I see, but Haley seemed to get even angrier. What do you mean? Are you still not done? Who was the one crying like that last time? I'm giving you a chance to make up. Don't be ungrateful, I said calmly. Haley, I told you, I won't care about you anymore. Haley laughed. Ha, fine, Maria, you're ruthless. You said this yourself, don't regret it. There was a loud bang on the other end of the phone. The phone was smashed on the ground. During my sick leave, the only good news was that my recommended admission quota was approved. The college entrance examination would be much easier for me compared to other classmates. But I didn't hesitate to submit an application to transfer to the key class. My grades were good enough to be assigned to the key class. I stayed in the ordinary class before because I wanted to study with Haley. Now, I don't want that anymore. I just want to stay as far away from him as possible. Haley didn't come to look for me again, nor did he contact me. Correspondingly, there was his high-profile relationship with Florence, even though I had blocked him. Screenshots of his and Florence's Ines story were still shared with me by various classmates and friends. Originally, his profile picture was pitch black, his Ines story was blank, and it was set to be visible only for the last 3 days. Giving off an aloof vibe and keeping people at a distance. Now, it has been replaced with a cute and soft cartoon puppy. It's a couple profile picture with Florence. The two of them also check in on their Ines story every day, recording all kinds of little details of their youthful first love, handmade love-themed lunches, sharing the same pair of earphones to listen to music, writing each other's names in their notebooks, feeding the stray kittens in the corner of the school together. The couple bracelets showing when they held hands under the shade of the trees. When I saw these, my hand holding the phone couldn't help but clench tightly. It turned out that Haley wasn't someone who didn't know how to respect girls, he just didn't respect me. He wasn't someone who didn't know how to seriously date a girl, he was just casual with me. I suppressed the surging emotions in my heart. I told myself, Maria, stop being sad for someone who isn't worth it, stop being so foolish. It's easy to arouse the dissatisfaction of classmates when transferring to the key class in the 3rd year of high school. On the first day of my transfer, the head teacher specifically introduced me in detail. Classmate Maria is a member of the provincial competition team. She won the National Gold Award on behalf of our province last year. She wasn't assigned to the key class before due to personal time arrangements. But she is really capable, everyone, don't underestimate her. If you have any questions, feel free to ask her. There were no poor students in the key class, and the looks they gave me immediately turned to admiration. Classmate Leonard also just transferred to our class, and there's an empty seat next to him. You're also teammates on the competition team, so let's make progress together. I widened my eyes. Leonard was sitting in the last row, with clear and handsome features, smiling gently at me. Senior sister, let's work hard together. It felt a bit strange that my junior brother suddenly became my classmate. We're both in senior year. You don't have to call me senior sister anymore. Leonard looked at me seriously, his eyes shining brightly. The sunlight was shining on him, and he was truly a youthful boy. Okay, Maria. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. I turned my head away in a flustered manner. Maria, the most important thing now is to study. Everything else is not important. Unexpectedly, no one in the school pointed fingers at me. It seemed that everyone had forgotten that post. I opened the campus network, and soon came across a follow-up post. The person who posted it directly revealed their identity. I'm Leonard from Class 1, Grade 2. I'm a teammate of Senior Sister Maria on the competition team. Senior Sister specially came to school to deliver documents to me when she was on sick leave. It was still during class at that time. Senior Sister went to the wrong restroom due to physical discomfort and fainted alone in the cubicle. Her condition was critical. She was discovered by classmates after class and sent to the hospital. Please don't maliciously slander, spread rumors, or damage the reputation of your classmates. In serious cases, the victim has the right to pursue legal liability. He also attached my diagnosis report from that day. The private information was blurred, leaving only the illness information. The tone of the comments below suddenly changed. The classmates who knew me stood up one after another to defend me. Only Haley angrily posted a comment. "Haley, at Leonard, who the hell are you?" The study tasks in the third year of high school were very heavy. Even though both Leonard and I had already secured the recommended admission quota, we still didn't slack off. I wanted to completely forget Haley through the hardship of studying. Leonard, because he skipped a grade, needed to solidify his foundation even more. After immersing ourselves in our studies, we shared our notes and experiences, explained each other's weak subjects, and competed to solve difficult problems together. Time passed in a fulfilling and intense manner. During the evening self-study after the exam, the seat next to me was pulled out. I passed over the cut fruits. "Leonard, my mom told me to bring more and share them with you." "Maria, have you had enough of this?" I suddenly looked up. Haley was sitting next to me. He half turned his body, pressing me against the corner seat. "Just to be spiteful, you transferred classes without saying a word, and even found a pretty boy junior to make me angry. Who gave you the right to do this?" "Maria, I'm telling you, if you still want to go to the same university as me, break up with this pretty boy right now." The classroom fell so silent that a pin drop could be heard. Everyone pricked up their ears to listen. I was so angry that I laughed and looked up. "Please move aside. This is Leonard's seat." Haley squinted his eyes at me. "No, I won't move. This is my seat." I pushed him angrily, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me towards him. He was strong and domineering. The humiliation of being casually manipulated came over me again. It made me feel desperate and heartbroken. Knock, knock. The desk in front of Haley was suddenly knocked twice. "Classmate, this is my seat." Leonard stood tall and straight, tilting his head and looking at him in confusion. "You don't seem to be a classmate in our class, right? This is the key class." Leonard deliberately emphasized the last three words. Haley was immediately enraged. He stood up and grabbed Leonard's collar. "What do you mean? Say that again." Leonard pointed at the clock behind him. "The teacher is coming." Haley cursed with an ugly expression and left, flinging his hand away. As soon as Leonard sat down, he showed concern for me. "Are you okay? Did he do anything to you?" I felt extremely guilty. "I'm sorry. I apologize to you on his behalf. Can you not apologize for him?" Leonard was silent for a moment before adding pitifully, "I'll be sad." I was taken aback, and my face suddenly felt a bit hot. I went to the restroom and splashed some cold water on my face to get rid of the unnecessary heat, but as soon as I came out, I was pushed into a dark and empty classroom. Haley pressed me against the door and asked me in a hateful voice, "Maria, you succeeded. What do I have to do for you to leave that pretty boy?" I was trapped in his embrace, trembling as I hugged my body tightly, but I still mustered up the courage to retort, "You already have Florence. Why are you still meddling in my business?" Haley laughed with a relieved expression. "So, you're still jealous and won't even let me touch you?" "I've already said, you two are different." I was furious. "I'm not jealous. I just don't want to care about you anymore, don't want to be entangled with you, and don't want to see you either. Have you ever, even once, listened to what I said? I was the one who shamelessly pestered you before. If you had told me that you liked someone else, I wouldn't have acted like that at all. But you strung me along, treating me like a woman you could play with at will, and you've never shown me the slightest bit of respect." Peeling open the most embarrassing scar again, I tried my best to hold back the soreness in my nose. "You clearly don't like me, but you've been lying to me, wanting to play with my body. Do you think you're worthy of our parents and the friendship we've had since childhood? You're simply a beast." Haley's face turned ugly. "You're saying such harsh words. Weren't you willing to do all those things? I gave you those clothes to wear, and you didn't get angry at all. When I kissed you on the day of the power outage, you were also very active. Isn't that what happens between consenting adults?" I smiled bitterly. "I was foolish to have liked you and thought that you liked me too, which is why I let you do those things to me. But that's not an excuse for you to humiliate me and spread rumors about me behind my back. And not even explain a single word for me. It's even less of an excuse for you to give that doll to her so easily. Haley, ask yourself, would you do this to Florence? You just wanted to have fun with my body while you were in a relationship with Florence." Haley was hit right in the mark, and his whole body went stiff. You're talking nonsense. I didn't. After a moment, he said with difficulty, Maria, our relationship of so many years shouldn't fall apart because of such a thing. It's not worth it. Since you insist on this, I'll break up with Florence, for your sake. I thought it was extremely ridiculous. I pushed him away with force. He still didn't understand. It wasn't Florence who destroyed our relationship of so many years. It was himself. You can refill a cup of tea when it gets cold, but when your heart turns cold, even the remaining warmth is a luxury. I don't need that. Hayley, I don't want to see you anymore, and you shouldn't come near me either. I feel scared and disgusted. Ignoring Hayley's suddenly staggering figure, I turned and left. Hayley and Florence broke up. There was a gossip post on the campus network. It made veiled insinuations. I had been pestering Hayley, interfering in his relationship with Florence, seducing Jiang Body, and finally Yi with my managed to take Florence's place. Although character codenames were used, everyone knew who it was talking about. It described a lot of details of my interactions with Hayley. And Florence was involved. Facing all this, my heart was no longer affected. It turned out that letting go of someone wasn't that difficult after all. When I tore someone else's name out of my heart, I realized that there was my own poem hidden underneath. I was very happy that I had found myself again. When I was concentrating on doing practice problems, there were always classmates who were eager for gossip coming to ask me about it. I was so annoyed by these groundless rumors. So I also posted a message, Maria, only those who can solve the following problem are worthy of talking about love with me. Then I posted the additional questions from the competition. There were a lot of comments calling me a genius. Only Leonard replied with detailed steps and the answer, and left a message. Deskmate, do I qualify? I replied, you've already done this. You're cheating. Leonard, give another question. I'll do it to prove it. Me. Hayley also left a comment below, at Maria. See you at University A. University A was the university that I had once wanted to get into with him. However, it no longer mattered. I put down my phone and didn't reply anymore. Hayley didn't come to look for me again, but all kinds of snacks, drinks, and desserts that I liked began to appear on my desk. I shared them all with my surrounding classmates. Hayley would use other people's phones to send me messages, either asking about my relationship with Leonard, or explaining that nothing had happened between him and Florence. There was also a photo of that little rabbit doll, indicating that he had taken it back. I blocked them one by one, and never replied. They all said that after I turned away, Hayley had a change of heart. He worked hard to catch up with me, hoping to rekindle our relationship at the agreed-upon University A. They said that men always realize their deep love only after they lose someone. Hayley was the same. But I didn't want to pay any attention to it. After the college entrance examination, I started to deal with another matter. When Hayley knocked on the door of my house with the admission notice of University A in his hand, looking full of pride, all that was left there was an empty house and a large wooden box placed at the door. Inside the box were all the things related to him. On the very top was the little dog doll that he had made with his own hands. On the sticky note on the chest of the little dog, it read, Goodbye, Hayley, never see you again. I was recommended for admission to University B and moved to City B with my family. When I heard that Hayley had managed to get into University A against the odds, I gave a bitter smile. Even though so many unpleasant things had happened, after all, we had known each other for so many years, I was sincerely happy for him and his parents that he was back on the right track. However, University A and University B, one was in the south and the other was in the north. From then on, we were separated by a great distance and would each lead our own lives. Throughout the whole vacation, I traveled to various places. After the new semester started, I learned from my former classmates. Hayley was going crazy looking for me. I didn't reveal any information about my location. I had also already explained the situation to my parents, but after the school started, I was still blocked by Hayley on campus. Hayley didn't look well. There were dark circles under his eyes and his hair was messy. Even so, he still attracted the attention of many girls around. He had always had a superior appearance. Even when he looked haggard, he had a kind of desolate and broken charm. Otherwise, he wouldn't have always been a popular figure on campus. I asked in surprise, Hayley, why are you here? Hayley looked down at me. You left without saying anything. Maria, you can't play me like this. We agreed to go to University together. I got in. Why aren't you there? I felt a bit embarrassed. Hayley, I thought I had made it clear. Haley suddenly became a bit agitated. Maria, you can't treat me like this. Just because I made a mistake once, you're sentencing me to death. I've already broken up with Florence. I've also cut off contact with those brothers you don't like. I don't fight, smoke, or drink anymore, and I've been admitted to University A as we agreed. I was a bit speechless. Haley, these things are actually for your own good. I didn't ask you to break up. I really don't care anymore. Haley was immediately stung. Yes, I know you're doing it for my own good. I was such a jerk before. If you want me to apologize, if you want me to kneel down and beg you, I'll do anything. Just don't ignore me, Maria. We've been together for so many years. Can't you give me another chance? After you left, everything seemed wrong. I finally realized that I can't live without you in my life. He took out the pair of rabbit and dog dolls and handed them to me. I was wrong before, but I've corrected my mistakes, and I'll find a way to make it up to you in the future. Maria, don't leave me. Okay, I didn't take them and just said softly, but some wounds can't be healed. Haley, even if you apologize and we can pretend that nothing happened. I still remember everything. I remember that you were thinking of someone else, yet you still trampled on my feelings, played with my body at will, laughed at me behind my back with your brothers, and didn't explain anything after dragging me into the restroom. Enough. The corners of Haley's eyes turned red. When he spoke again, he sounded extremely aggrieved. I know, it's all my fault. I made a mistake. I just want a chance to make up for my mistakes and pursue you again. Isn't that possible? I looked at my phone and felt a bit impatient. Haley, not all mistakes can be forgiven. Haley was about to say something more. Another male voice interrupted. I've been looking for you for a long time. Why are you still here? Leonard walked up and took my hand. He smiled politely at Haley. Sorry, classmate, Ruoli and I have an appointment later. When he saw Leonard, Haley's eyes suddenly darkened. Ruoli, so, you got into University B because of him, you. Leonard blocked me behind him and interrupted Haley casually. Classmate, Ruoli and I were both recommended for admission, so we didn't need to take the exam. Haley still couldn't believe it. You liked me so much. How could this be possible? When did you two? I said calmly. The day you and your brother talked about what I was wearing. I applied for the recommended admission. When I was in the hospital because of you, he was the one who accompanied me. When I was slandered and smeared because of you, he was the one who believed me and explained for me. There are many more things like this. Do you want to hear them all? Haley's face turned pale inch by inch. He mumbled his lips but couldn't say a word. I shook the hand we were holding and gave him a bright smile. Haley, I'm living a good life now. You should also look forward. As we passed each other, Leonard chuckled softly. He's not even worthy of being called your ex-husband. Why bother making a fool of himself? I was amused by him, but I also felt like crying a bit. So an ex-husband would be okay. Leonard took my hand and kissed it. Definitely not. I won't let you have anything like that in the future. Haley stood there stiffly, his body hunched, looking desolate and dejected. Under the coat, there was a choker with a pink ribbon, a black lace bra, suspender fishnet black silk stockings, and a bunny tail sticking out of a mini skirt. After that, Haley came to look for me many more times. I just ignored him. Leonard became even more clingy to me. In winter, he would share half of his scarf with me, cover my hands and gently blow on them, and open his coat to wrap me in his arms, but he treated me with great respect. Only when he got my permission would he blush and gently kiss my cheek. We laughed and played around, whispering intimately and flirting. We shared the sweet nothings that lovers do. All these things were also seen by Haley. He was so jealous that he almost went crazy. Finally, one day, he couldn't hold back and resorted to violence. I called the police without hesitation and let him be taken away by the police. There was a deep plea in his eyes as he looked at me, until the last glimmer of light in his eyes faded away under my calm and indifferent gaze. He never appeared in front of me again. Later, I heard that he dropped out of University A and fell back into his old ways. He smoked, drank, fought, went to bars, raced cars, and caused a lot of trouble. When he was drunk, he would always cry and call my name. He was living a life that was neither human nor ghostly. Haley's parents were extremely disappointed in him. The economic situation of the Jiang family also took a nosedive. Haley was no longer the dashing and carefree young master of the Jiang family.